Good evening, everyone. I'm Isla Berman, the Director of Architecture. For all of our guests, I'm extremely pleased to be able to welcome Ryue Nishizawa as our lecturer this evening at CCA. Our architecture lecture series is a public series, and it's funded by professional firms from their donations in the community. And I want to first thank our sponsoring firms for their ongoing support for our series, because this evening's lecture wouldn't be possible, of course, without them. In addition, I want to thank the Graduate Lecture Series, Jens Hoffman and Claire Fitzsimmons of the CCA Wattis Institute, and Luke Ogridziak and Carrie Bernstein of the SF MoMA A&D Forum, who have enabled the co-sponsor of this lecture this evening. Nishizawa is a founder and partner with Kazuyo Sejima of the studio SANAA, based in Tokyo, Japan, known for an aesthetic intelligence that is restrained and minimal, yet highly complex, that is abstract yet deeply phenomenal in the foregrounding of an almost immaterial and luminous experience. SANAA has received extensive international acclaim for their work, most significantly as the 2010 recipient of the Pritzker Architecture Prize, which is the most important international honor achievable within the architecture profession. Our lecture tonight will be introduced by Jens Hoffman. Jens is the director of the Wattis Institute for Contemporary Art at CCA. Before coming to CCA, Jens was the director for exhibitions at the Institute of Contemporary Arts in London, and also works as a curator for the CIAC Foundation in Mexico City. This year, Jens is the co-curator with Adriano Pedroso of the 2011, the 12th Istanbul Art Biennale, that's happening now, where he worked very closely with Nishizawa, who was the creator of the pavilion design for the exhibition. So please join me in welcoming both Jens Hoffman and Ryue Nishizawa.
Well, thank you very much for the kind introduction, and thanks to all of you for coming. As Isla said, I'm Jens Hoffman, the director of the Wattis Institute here, and I'm also assistant professor at the curatorial practice program. And I wish that so many people would turn out for our curatorial lectures. So next time you really want to come here, there's a lot of good talks coming out of curating as well. And it's not as hard as those right now to get into. I became aware of the work of Ryue Nishizawa about 10, 11 years ago on a trip to Japan, where the Italian photographer Luisa Lambri introduced me to his work. She was traveling through various buildings that SANAA had built, and introduced me to the work, and I began looking further into the practice of SANAA, and was particularly fond of Nishizawa's residential architecture. We met in 2007 for the first time, where during the inauguration of the new museum, which is probably the most well-known building they have built and designed outside of Japan. And I met him again when he designed and did the exhibition design architecture of the Yokohama, the second Yokohama Triennial in 2008, where he continued to sort of use a particular structure that his work, or also that of SANAA, has been sort of characterized by. I suppose that many of you are also familiar with the museum in Kanazawa that they built several years before the new museum. And what you find there is this sort of very rare combination, and something that I as a curator respond to very much, of an architecture that's incredibly active, that has a lot of presence, but at the same time doesn't overwhelm anything that is exhibited in that. When I was appointed the co-curator of the Istanbul Biennial, my first idea was to approach Nishizawa to work with him on the architecture for this exhibition. The exhibition includes about 150 artists in 5 different sections, and was quite an undertaking to transform 2 large former like warehouses in the harbor of Istanbul into an exhibition space. They were extremely raw and needed a lot of work. And Nishizawa came up with a brilliant idea that was extremely cost effective and worked extremely well for our for the structure of the exhibition that was composed out of 5 large group exhibitions that were surrounded by about 55 solo exhibitions. And I hope that Nishizawa is also going to talk about this. We also invited Nishizawa to come here to perhaps see if there's a way of collaborating with the CCA Waters Institute, and we had a look around our galleries, and I hope that this visit here will be very fruitful. And from what I can hear, he has enjoyed his time here very much. So I would like you to join me in welcoming Ryue Nishizawa.
Good evening. My name is Ryue Nishizawa. Thank you for inviting me today to have an opportunity to give my idea about the recent works that I did and I'm now doing. And normally I do lecture in Japanese, but at this time I try to speak English. I don't know how it can work, but I try. And first of all, I want to talk a little bit about my organization, the way to approach to my project. Actually, Sejima-san and me, I have 3 different offices in Tokyo. Sejima office, Nishizawa office, and the SANAA office. And SANAA office is a kind of a collaboration office, mainly to join the international competition. And that's why I sometimes work alone by my office, and sometimes I do collaboration together with Sejima-san by SANAA. And today I brought several projects done by sometimes by my own, sometimes by SANAA. This will come like together, but I will talk from. This is the first project that I showed here. This is the a small museum project that I did in small island near the Naoshima Island. Naoshima Island is quite well known in Japan with contemporary art activity, where Mr. Tadao Ando made a few museums, and then there are many contemporary artworks done by James Turrell or Mariko Mori, or there are so many great art pieces in the island. And recently, Naoshima Island people start extending their art activity, covering a few different islands around the Naoshima Island. And then they called me to join, to work, to do the small art project here, just in the slope of the mountain beside the ocean. The site is really beautiful, with the beautiful ocean and green. And then they told me some interesting program that they want to have with this museum, such as they just want to have one small art piece, and then they want to exhibit this forever. They don't change art. And then they want me to think about what kind of integration or harmony between art and architecture and nature can be made here. And the site is quite beautiful and quite unique because there's no straight line in this property because of nature, nature all around. And this is the first sketch that I made at the beginning phase to tell the concept. One of the most biggest concept to me is creating the one room with like the organic free curve, which look like water drops. And this is a very organic shape. I thought of making architecture by free line can fit to the nature because the nature around this building doesn't have any straight line. And there is a corner here to invite people. People can get in from here, but all the other part go in a way they are all continuing like this. There is no wall, there is no roof. They are all one. And then this is, you can see how the water drops shape can fit together with around. And this is the one room, the biggest room for art piece. And this is another water drops with a cafe inside. And this is the looking from the side. You see the curve happen even the elevation way. And this is a computer graphic image that I drew during the design phase. Finally, I chose the concrete as a structure. This is called shell structure, like very thin concrete plate fly, like from here to there to create a big 60-meter span or something. And this is the section that I cut. I cut the building from the left to the right. You can see how the curve changing depend on the position. But I'm trying to make maximum span with low ceiling height, as low as possible, to emphasize the horizontal, the movement, direction of the space. And then this is the structure, shell structure, which is very thin. And then this is the photo of construction. The way to construct the building is the quite unique way. They have soil when they dig the ground for foundation. And then after making the foundation, they, how to say, create mountain for the molding. So normally people, Japan, people do plywood does molding to pour the concrete, because normally concrete slab is all flat. But this case, I thought it's not efficient to use plywood for making concrete, so that we decided to do the soil mountain way. This is a very, how to say, logical and cheap. You can make any kind of shape. And then after making a mountain, they install the reinforcement like this. You see the mountain comes very low. And then due to structural reason, we couldn't divide the building into two pieces, so that the concrete worker people start working from the morning until the next morning. spending, continuing pouring concrete for 24 hours. It was a really great job. But this is now there at night. They have come in the half. And this is just after, next morning, this is just after they done the concrete pouring. You can see still the soil is in the shell. And I made a few openings like this to allow people to get inside to dig the hole. And this is the free curvature that the people walking here can see. The idea is the architecture and the nature can share the exactly same curve to create a kind of a new harmony between them. And then they start digging the soil to bring all of them out to create space under the shell. This is just after they finished. They brought all the soils out. You can, and then the hole stay there. And then I decided to leave the hole as it is, with no glazing, with no enclosure here. And then sometimes the hole looks like kind of floating in the air. And then we have another hole here, and then one of the hole is sitting just on the ground. This is the entrance and exit. There is only one opening to have people come in and come out. And this opening left open to have rain and wind inside, so that the art piece that she did, there is a female, very famous female artist whose name is Miss Naito. Naito-san did the water art. The water appears in the morning, water appears from many points on the floor, and then they come together to create the fountain under the opening. It's like moves every moment. And then sometimes rain come inside to join, the rain join the heart, and then sometimes the wind or the insect, all the thing outside sometimes come in. But I'm trying to create openness and enclosedness together all at once. And this is the next museum project that I made after the Teshima Museum, the previous museum. This is the project site. This is a small town which is called Karuizawa. Karuizawa is a 1 hour far train ride from Tokyo up to north. And then this is a museum for the Japanese, famous Japanese painter. And then he wanted to have an open museum that the people can appreciate the daylight and green during walking in the museum. And then I saw that there is a 3 meters difference, height difference on the site. Like there was a topography of the ground going down like this. So I finally decided not to make a flat area, like not make terrace like this. I felt this is too much artificial. So I decided to use the existing slope like this, so that people can feel, they can walk on the slope, and they can walk around like they walk in the park. And the space is, it's a little bit difficult to see. The one room, just one room with a few patio to divide the space. And there are the wheelchair way like this, but basically they are all just one room. And then the structure, I gave another shape on the roof to have a different ceiling height here and there. Sometimes roof come down to create a low ceiling. Sometimes roof come up to have a very tall ceiling. And then the wall, exhibition wall support the roof like this. And then the client people already have the collection, so that I study together with their art collection to define each size of exhibition wall and structure wall. And then the translucent the screen create semi-transparent relation between inside and outside. This is patio, and this is outside. You see a little bit outside, and then few wall appears in random way like this. And some of the wall works as a structure, some of the wall not. This is like you see the space in between. This is temporary wall to manage the extension of the collections. And then you see how the floor going down towards the lowest point. And then the patio create the circulation around. And this is a wheelchair way that very difficult to see. That this is where the wheelchair people move around the building. And then I did the landscape around the building to a little bit hide the building from neighbors. And this is another project that Sejima-san and I made together for the museum people in Toledo, in the Ohio State. And then this is the Toledo. This town has the existing museum, mainly famous with their glass art collection. And the collection, glass art collection that they have is huge, starting from Egyptian period until 20th century. And then they wanted, they have an idea to have annex the small museum pavilion here, mainly exhibiting glass art collection. And then they have beautiful green here, and then they have parking property behind the green here. And then we start to look around the museum to find the best location for the museum. And then finally we decided to remove the parking lot here to extend this beautiful green area to be twice or 3 times bigger than this photo. And then this become the project site with the green, beautiful green. And this is the model, this is the initial concept in the relation with surroundings. Building to be very low like this to avoid disturbing the beautiful branch that the tall tree has. And then this is just 1 story is on the ground and another 1 story in the basement. And in basement we have a machine or a warehouse or whatever kind of backspace to have all the space on the ground to be public. And this is the concept model to show the concept. The idea is that each program is become independent by being surrounded, wrapped by the transparent glass wall like this. So this is multi-purpose room. And then we have 4 exhibition rooms. But from program viewpoint, these 4 are the same, so that we made this kind of curved glass wall to make 4 to be 1. And this is a glass making factory workshop space, 2 rooms, but the 2 rooms become 1 by this curved wall. And this is the almost final floor plan that I made. The wall looks very thin, but every boundary has double glass with the space in between. This space works as a buffer zone to disconnect different temperature, different climate situation here and there. Because this is a lobby, normal situation. But this is the exhibition room that we need to have a strict humidity and the temperature. And this is a glass making workshop. They become very hot. So there are many different climate happening inside the building, so that we decide to have air space, cavity space going in between these rooms. And this is the completion photo. This shows how buildings is kept low to make tree looks beautiful, trying to make tree look beautiful looking. And then this is the part that we made. This is existing grass, and this is a new part. This used to be the parking. And you see how 2 different balloons, the room meet. Sometimes they don't meet, keeping a little bit away, but sometimes they meet to allow people to come and out. And this is a cafe, this is a foyer, and then the glass workshop is behind here, together with the foyer next here. But it's all, you can see all the way. And then one of the workshop space are situated just behind the facade to let people in the park to see inside. The people walking in the city can see the museum, how museum people working in the building. This is not just a museum, but this is a kind of a community center where people living in this area can come to enjoy the many programs like cafe or lecture hall or exhibition. So we are trying to create the open feeling as much as possible. And this is the foyer, and then glass making workshop here, and then exhibition space the other side with the patio. And then this is a glass making workshop is like a theater. They do show. When they do small show, they do like this, but sometimes when they do big show, they bring chairs in the foyer to extend the program like this. And this is the exhibition room, mainly glass art exhibited with independent showcase, or sometimes this glass wall works as a showcase with the opacity behind. And this is a multi-purpose room, one of the most public space, being surrounded by the single curve. And this is one of the most famous public area that people this area people can visit to use for dinner party or lecture or whatever. And then basically this is a very transparent building, but sometimes the reflection appears, and then you sometimes see the people activity inside and the landscape together. And this is the new part that we made, a new landscape, the new part of the landscape that we made. To have a pavilion in the center of the park. And this is another project. This is the small pavilion, temporary pavilion project that we did for the Serpentine Gallery people. This is Serpentine Gallery, one of the most famous museum in London. And the situation is really great. They have a garden here, and they are all surrounded by the big, beautiful park called Hyde Park. Very special location. And then the program that they wanted to have here is not a super dense thing. Just they wanted to make a open space to invite people enjoying green in the park. And then they want to have a cafe and seating, 100 seating here. But basically, this is just a public space. And then they also said that they want to have a roof because they often have a very strong rain every day. So they wanted to be protected by the roof. One of our idea is creating just a roof. There's no wall around to open up the building, to open up this pavilion to all around. And the shape of the roof defined in the relation with the existing trees. They have many beautiful trees in the garden, so that the roof shape is like trying to avoid the existing position of a tree. And then roof shape become like a cloud-looking shape. And then even height of each part of the roof are defined together with the surroundings. They have a big traffic here, so that we made ceiling very tall. First, we try to extend the roof going out over the street, but the London city people says no. So we come back again. But actually, this is here. Actually, here still, this is public. I wanted to extend architecture covering not only private but also public space to have open feeling. So that there are many people, jogging people, going through under the roof. And then ceiling height, here we have 6 meters, and getting lower until 60 centimeters here, I think, very low. This is where the tall people can't come in. This is just for kids. And we did the aluminum finish on the ceiling and the roof. This is just plate. There's no beam, but they are supported by the bunch of columns. And then column appears like a random way to support the roof. And then roof is inclined to have more reflection on the ceiling. And this is a cafe here, and then seating for lecture here. And then the roof coming down gradually towards the window, the existing window of the Serpentine Gallery. We are trying to create continuity from inside to outside. And this is, you see how the roof come down. This is very low. And the idea is not to have walls, so that here we need to have wall, but we didn't want to make wall. So this is like the wind protection. Wind protection appears like furniture. It doesn't reach to the ceiling. It's very short. And then keeping transparency. And then inside this, the plexi wall, people can gather, can come to do the show. And then the ceiling reflection, ceiling reflect the landscape like upside down. But this become like you have a feeling that you are surrounded by the beautiful green that the Hyde Park has. And sometimes when people come together, that there is a reflection happening on the ceiling to tell people far away there are some special event is going on. And then this is the looking photo looking from far in the park to look how the aluminum roof appears in the bright, very bright. And this is another project. This is a small house project that I made for my friends living in the center of the city. The site is very special, kind of special, very low in north-south direction and narrow in east-west direction. And then what I did is lining up all the program like this. And first I gave the specific dimension independently to each room, and then they get connected. And different dimension create a gap between them to give daylight from all around. And this is the photo of the inside. And I also gave the tall ceiling height for the space. And the movable roof. They can open up the roof to have the very open feeling inside the house. So when if they open up the roof, space become, this is living room, but the living room become more patio feeling, that this become outside. And then there are a few really small patio here. And this is the photo looking from small patio looking inside. And then there's another patio here. They all looks like continuing. In Tokyo, people always trying to have a very enclosed house to have security, but I decided to have an open feeling for the house to feel some relation with the environment and the house. And then different boxes with different dimension meet like this way to have sunlight. And then this is bathroom. And then this is when they open up the window and the roof, you hear the sound, the noise that the city has. You can feel where you live. So I'm trying to create a kind of comfortable feeling at the home without being enclosed. And then this is another house that I made recently based on the same idea, trying to have open feeling at home. But the site is really extreme site, this one. 4 meter this way and 7 meter this way. And all the neighbors is really gigantic, like 40 meter or 40 meter. It looks like bottom of the body. And then very little sunlight come in. And then 2 women, the business partner, wanna live together here and work together here. So this is semi-house and semi-office. And very dense program in the really small site. And then if I make a wall, structure wall here and here, we will lose a lot of the space because we need to have a 50 centimeter setback from both sides and then another 50 centimeter structure wall to have just 2 meter inside. I didn't think this is a nice idea to have a thick structure wall, so that finally I decided to not to have a wall to support them. The idea is like all the floor has tiny garden and a tiny room, and then this is floor plan. You see all the floor has really small garden and a small room, but the relation between them are all different. But there's no wall to enclose the house, and then the really dense. I put so many garden to have even more density for the house. I thought the small house is nice to think about the density. That's why I thought it's nice to give more density in a way. This is the initial plan that I made, initial model that I made the beginning phase. But these days I was working on with the steel construction, but finally I changed the idea in the structure to have thick concrete. 3 concrete columns support everything. But you see how the small room and small garden come together, having a different relation between them, but they are all really small. And this is computer graphics image. You see the difference between neighbors. And the 3 columns support the floor plate. And this is, you see how the small garden are stacked each other in between the tall building. And then each floor has a different landscape. This is kind of Japanese garden. It doesn't look Japanese, contemporary Japanese garden. And this is a Brazilian Amazon garden because it's very dark. So, and then when I went to Amazon, I thought it's nice. I saw the green create very darkness, but still looks beautiful. So I decided to Amazon style the plantation. And this is more European, I would say, more bright, more romantic, the beautiful green, and the rooftop. And then there are some programs even outside and inside. There's a washing machine here, and then meeting space here. They have the screen to enclose the room. And there are some programs even outside. This is the daybed. And then the bathroom are separated away from the circulation. They walk through the patio garden to reach to the toilet, the bathroom. This is a kind of traditional way to have bathroom outside of the house. And then the staircase connect all of them. And this is, you see the relation. And then sometimes you see neighbors, but it's okay. They are all trying to enclose. So you can use the space outside. Anyway, this is really small project. And this is the new museum project that I did for the new museum people in Manhattan. And they used to live in the Broadway, but they decided to move here, just in front of the Bowery Street, which is one of the very local, rough street. And then we start working together with them. And then site, comparing to the program, amount of program, site is the small, so that we start thinking how to stack the building. And then one of the idea that we found is to give different dimension, and then they are stacked in a way having a gap between them. This gap sometimes works as the skylight. Sometimes it works as a terrace to allow people to come out, to enjoy the view to the Manhattan. Like sometimes this is, and each floor has a different dimension for different exhibition room with a different position of the skylight. And then we put the aluminum mesh on it to cover everything. Window, the wall, they are all covered by the transparent mesh, except the ground floor. Ground floor is very open with many public program like a cafe or a free gallery here, and then shop, and then we also have the theater basement. And they are all accessible by the people. And then there are big elevator for the transportation. And then this is one of the exhibition room. You see how another exhibition space upstairs coming like this to have daylight, skylight on the side. And then we also have a staircase to connect each floor, so people can walk, people can go around with the elevator and the staircase. And some of the room can have a window. They can open up, and then this kind of space can be used for many different activity, like workshop or party, whatever. And then people can get out come to the terrace to enjoy the beautiful New York view in the very high position. And this is one of the most recent projects that we made for university in Lausanne, Switzerland. This is the existing campus of the university, which is called EPFL. And then this is the project that we made. The program that we have is the complex of public programs, such as library, cafe, exhibition space, multi-purpose hall, student office, library, Anyway, the program that we have with this building are all public. And the existing campuses like this, like bar, school bar repeats, and they are built in the 70s. And they didn't have any center space to allow them to come to stay together. And then, so that they wanted the university people, one of the wish that university people wanted to have is to have a center space that the people can feel center of the university. And then that's why we came up with this idea to create very big one-room space to allow all the student and faculty people staying together in one room. This is 180 meter this way and 110 or 100, a little bit more than 100 meter this way. It's huge space. But we put many patios, round patio, to softly divide the space here and there. It's softly divided, but it's connected at the same time so that people, if you want, you can walk all the way from there to there. And another thing is that we gave this kind of topography to the project to create open space here. This works as the open space and also works as an approach to the center here, because we thought if we have entrance here, it's very long to walk, and everybody must go through all the program to reach here. We thought it's not a nice idea. But if we give the shape like this, you can go directly into the middle of the building to have direct access here, so that everybody around can come into the center first to get inside through this open space, and then they take their own way to go to where they want to go. And then this is very difficult to see, the entrance situation. And then this topography works in a way that the people here can see a landscape behind the building because it's sloped. This is the schematic diagram that we made during competition phase. We are trying to tell what kind of advantage we can have with this the shape, and then the three-dimensional relation between inside and outside can be made by them. And the roof and the floor plate go together, keeping parallel relation like this, to give a very special one room feeling. The people standing here doesn't feel one room, but if they walk up, you can see the space continue and continue. And then here, this is a valley. You have a feeling that you are surrounded by the hill. The topography gives very many different local situation, such as hill or valley or very long slope. And then this is a map showing every different level, and these are lines to show the contour different level. So they are not wall. They are all continuing. And this is the valley where we have entrance with the cafe beside. And then there are two hills here, smaller one here, bigger one here. This hill go across the building to have a multi-purpose hall independent from all the other part. And we have a library on the top of the hill here, and the restaurant on the most highest part on the hill with a beautiful view to the lake. This is the model. You see the relation between each, the local spaces. This is the entrance. And then building flies like this, and then this arrive here again. And this is where we do maximum jump. We do 80 meters. This is the facade facing to the existing campus. We have existing campus here. They have Main Street here, very wide street. So we are trying to have a continuity with the gigantic, with the urban scale dimension here. So the people, so many people can come at once through the building. And sometimes building land to the ground, touch the ground. And then in this case, they can have a local entrance to have a local access, direct access to each program. This is the office space. They don't have to come first to the main entrance. They take this direct approach. And then this is another touch point between the ground and the building, where they have a theater here. So they can use inside and outside together. And this is the entrance here, and the cafe. And we have many different ways of transportation, like a slope or staircase or electric train, and to bring everybody to reach to every different floor. We learned very much from the Swiss town in the mountain. They have a staircase, they have slope, they have a funicular to have a nice life in the city. So we learned, and then we start thinking how to use the transportation. So people they are okay to walk along, or they also can take the train to come up. And the entrance here, and then people walking up to the hill, they arrive to the library, or the library on this way and the restaurant on the other way. And if you go across the mountain, you will arrive the office area. And then this is the library where the student people can study. And the acoustic ceiling kind of enclose the space to have more quiet feeling. And then this is the photo trying to tell the concept. It's a little bit too bright, but the people can see the lake and the mountain over there behind the building. And then this way you can reach to this is library. Now you can walk to the restaurant there. And this is the restaurant, which is situated at the highest level of this building. And they can enjoy the lake and the mountain. This photo you don't see, but they have very beautiful landscape. And then people can walk down to here, which is cafe, student cafe, surrounded by the slope, and then they also can go further this way to take another slope to reach here. This is a theater surrounded by this topography. This is used for the seating to have more concentrating feeling for the stage. We have stage here. And then this is, we have small patio here for the entrance and exit to allow people to go out. And this is the biggest patio that we made. This is one of the big open space where the student people can use when they do festival. And then during festival time, the building part become the, how to say, the mezzanine, the the seating. This is a photo looking from the main street that they have here, and this you see how the big street get connected to the building, and then they have very beautiful mountain view the other side of this project, and then the slope will connect to many different programs like this. And sometimes people use slope as it is, and sometimes they create the terrace to have a flat area. And then they are all continuing. This is one hour. I think this is the last photo, I think. Is it 1 hour? Has passed, right? Thank you very much. Yeah.
Can we maybe turn on the lights, get the lights turned up, and we'll open it up for a couple questions. Yes.
My question is about the structural design process, which is clearly very important, particularly in the seismic area for your projects. And I wonder if you could just comment on that.
I often work together with one of the most famous structural engineer person, which is called Sasaki-san, Mr. Sasaki. He became famous with Ito-san's project, which is Sendai Medatech, that they made in the Sendai city. And then Ito-san introduced us to the Sasaki-san to do more projects. And the Sasaki-san is a very great person. And then we actually work really together, the kind of collaboration. We go to Sasaki-san's office before we create nothing, just to discuss. And then when we make some option, we go to Sasaki-san's office to ask to hear his opinion. So we go to Sasaki-san's office so often. And from the schematic phase until the end. He's a really great person. Is it? Okay. Inspiration.
Inspiration. Muse.
Inspiration what? Huh?
To create. What inspires you?
You mean in general?
Yeah.
Inspiration? Inspiration. I think I always trying to forget the existing typology, existing the way to use. If I try to make like a normal standard house, it will become very normal, and then I lose the opportunity to think about the contemporary living style. So I try to see the, how to say, really contemporary, the way to live by the people today. So I trying to be free from the existing, like, the existing standard shape and existing relation with the programs. Is it? It can be answered, I don't know. I'm not sure.
You talked a lot about nature in your work. Is there a difference for you between man-made nature or managed nature and then something that's a more wild natural environment?
This is very nice question. I have never thought about, but I think I appreciate both the man-made nature and really nature, because this is one of the traditional way that the Japanese people took. They always try to create half man-made nature in between architecture and the real nature to create a gradual relation, because we don't have a wall culture. There's no wall to divide the space. All the space to be continued from the very deep in the house to the landscape, so that I think I appreciate real wilderness, nature, and half man-made landscape, I think, to have a great continuity through the project.
So you talked about the random placement of the structural supports, like the walls and the steel columns. Is there any reason behind that?
Can you speak up a little bit?
So you mentioned about the random placement of the structural supports, like the steel columns and the walls. Is there a reason behind that?
One of the reasons, I sometimes work on the grid structure. It depends on the project, but this one, this is the landscape that is not square, so that the shape of the building become kind of distorted. So I thought the grid structure have create some leftover space around here, there. And then Serpentine Gallery Pavilion, we have found the idea to have a very random free curve. And then I thought it's nice. It's more natural to have random columns like trees has around. It will give more smooth, natural continuity between inside and outside.
Have you ever thought about using materials other than
White and gray color?
Yeah, this is. I will start working on the many different materials for now, but until now, we do just the gypsum board and the concrete and the glass. That's it. Very kind of poor, very simple, because one of the reasons why we became like this is that we want to spend much money to the structure. We appreciate structure very much, because structure is one of the most biggest thing to define the space. So we always want to spend money to structure as much as possible, and then we have very little money to to finish. But the other hand, I love the space to be simple. I don't want to put so many colorful, so many things. I wanna have something simple. So concrete and gypsum board and glass. This is basically I'm happy. But this is, I think, the reason why.
Sure. Have you ever thought about building like skyscrapers then?
Actually, new museum that we made is the skyscraper. It's more than 50 meter high. They need some special light. But we are now working on the really tall building in Mexico, in Guadalajara. It's like 100 meter. It's inside. Maybe we can't do. It's office building. That there will be another people who come to do interior design.
You start off with very abstract designs. What point do you reach when you start really like your end product is always a minimalistic design? At what point do you reach where you take all of your inspiration or where your starting point and start reaching that minimalistic approach from a very abstract starting point?
This is I don't understand. I'm sorry, I don't understand. What's the starting point?
When you start off your designs, they usually come with a very abstract place like the heights and everything. But how do you start to become more minimalistic in your end product? Bringing like very complicated ideas.
I'm not sure if I understand or not, but I'm not sure if I'm minimalist, but I think I love simple thing. But the program is always very much complicated. So studying on the program is to me something make things simple. And so the studying more, the project becoming simple, I think, to have more simple relation. Is it the answer? Yeah?
The carpet in the EPFL project a requirement, or was that a choice?
Carpet?
Yeah.
Actually, we strongly proposed to have concrete, but they didn't like. That's why it became carpet.
Is it partially because of that they required the carpet?
I don't think so. I think Swiss people, when they want to have a concrete, it must be really beautiful concrete. But this is maybe a little bit difficult. And then we also have acoustic issue to be resolved, not only using by the ceiling, but also using the floor. And then we put the carpet at some point, but they like to have continuity, to have one material around.
How do you deal with orientation in that project, like getting people to the front door?
Lausanne? Yes. Orientation? Orientation, no, I think it's like same with the city where you visit first. So first day you will get lost. But it's university thing that you can use again and again. It's you can become like the building in a way same with the way you become love the city. So first you don't know anything, but gradually you learn. But it's a kind of simple, there's no wall. You can feel the relation between them. Once you walk around, you understand.
How do you bridge the gap between like a gestural sketch versus the the final realization of the project with all its specificity embedded to it?
Sketch and
Difference between like
it's sketch and real building. It's really different. But I think I draw the sketch to make me understand the goal, the ideal goal that I must go. So it's it works. It's very helpful for me to understand the concept. The sketch make the relation of each thing very simple to let me understand the way, the target that I better go. Very difficult question. Very nice. I think it's very nice question, but very difficult to answer. Just I always work on the hand drawing, computer drawing, and especially on the model, and then during the study phase, the model that we make, study model that I make, getting big. I start with 200, 1 to 200 or something, but getting like 150, and finally it become 1 to 1. And then the gradually detail appearing on each scale, but each different scale shows different detail. Because 1 to 200 can't show the really small thing, but you see some relation that 1 to 200 drawing can tell, and then you will see another relation when you get into the 1 to 50, and then I gradually understand what kind of relation between different things can be made. Is it? Is it
Yeah.
Isn't it?
You spoke a lot about the relationship between architecture and nature, and architecture and art, maybe your program. I was wondering, you touched on a little bit, but could you just discuss maybe conceptually how you view architecture and the user, like how you would like people to be received into a building or use a building as if they were either a program or artwork?
I sometimes visit some architecture, and then sometimes I'm impressed to see how people use the space in a very creative way. And then I thought that if I can make a very creative architecture, this gives the people the imagination, different imagination, to invite another creativity done by the user people. So this is to me kind of a mutual relation between the architecture and the people. And if you do just a standard building, people will use in a very standard way. But if you do something different, people start managing in a very different way. And the contemporary architecture is one of the most important thing to me. What kind of how to say, contemporary lifestyle can be shown through the contemporary architecture. So that I always trying to see how people can create a relation between architecture in a very today's way or future way, I don't know.
The sketches that you make seem very obvious when you show us the final building.
advantage do you think?
The one thing that Sejima-san teach me is that you must work forever to create many different options, to have a confidence that this is the only one option that we must do. So that I try to draw many different options, different studies as much possible until deadline comes. What do you think, love?
What do you enjoy?
Enjoy? I think most of the time I study, I suffer. I struggle. I can't enjoy, but sometimes but struggling with something gives me something fresh, like a kind of the sports. When I run very much, I get exhausted. It's very struggling, but I feel some satisfied feeling. And especially when I reach to some nice idea, I become happy. And then when I complete everything, maybe I forget all the struggle that I made. Is it okay?
Relationship between nature and architecture, and I'm wondering, have you ever tried to integrate the nature, use the architecture to integrate the nature, like make the bad condition into a good condition?
Interfere? I don't know, I hope not. I try to make some continuity and a good harmony between the environment and architecture.
So have you ever tried to create some architecture to change this condition, to make the bad condition into good?
Bad condition to good condition. At some point, yes, but at some point, very difficult question. For the Toledo Museum, they had a parking property, which is not the best landscape. But maybe this is somehow, I can say, I don't think it's bad, but it's not the best landscape that they can have. But by having an open program there, the people can have opportunity to come and to enjoy the landscape. I think this is kind of the bad point to becoming a good point.
One more question.
I really appreciate these pictures because you see a teacher over there is a black light before. I think that's kind of dialogue between the drawings and the nature. I remember you said that you put those different pictures in different structures, and I mean, how could you divide which picture will on the formal structure, which pictures on the temporary or like that?
The very difficult question to answer. This is there are main two things to drive. One is the art privacy, the independency. I didn't want to have a painting like like this. I wanted to have independency, to let people to feel the independent, the atmosphere that each painting can create, and then together with the patio beside. That's why I decided to split in the random way, and they are all lining up along the topography contour to create the rectangular. If you have a wall against the topography, the bottom becomes like this. If you do have a wall along the contour, the elevation becomes rectangular. I thought this is nice. And the people often walk along the contour. So maybe it's nice to have this. And then this became random. And there's another issue on the structure. This needs to be the evenly spread. And then when I make a long wall here, sometimes Sasaki-san tell me this is not good. It's from balancing viewpoint. And then I make the other wall big with another art painting. So this kind of relation became this.
All right, this will I promise, be the last one. Since I said we would have only 2 or 3 questions. But,
how do you envision your buildings 25, 50, or even 100 years from now?
I think I hope the building, the aging like people, starting with a very beautiful, clean baby, and getting it in aging in a nice way. I hope. I hope. But when I built the new one, it looks a little bit, some sudden feeling in the side appears because it's new. But we have very old neighbors around. But after 5 years, I see some nice, more intimate continuity happen in the relation between the neighbors. So I think it's nice to spend the time to see more nicer situation, I think.
thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.